I have watched people where corporate America has become their identity and then they lose their job and they
Oh.
don't know who they are. And that is a devastating thing to go through. And that's why I always recommend everybody have something else on the side. Don't let what you do define who you are.
Hey friends, hey, welcome back to the show. It's Nikayla here, and today in the guest chair I have Chanel Tyler, better known as By Me Chanel. Chanel has built an incredible career at the intersection of tech, beauty, and the creator economy. She is a Spelman alum with an MBA from Columbia Business School who went on to hold leadership roles at companies like Estee Lauder and YouTube, where she helped shape how beauty and lifestyle creators grow and monetize on the platform. But while Chanel was building her career inside corporate, she was also building something on the side, a certified side hustle pro. And she was creating content and experimenting with affiliate marketing in a way that eventually grew into a meaningful income stream for her. So what does she do? Over time, that side hustle evolved into something bigger, leading Chanel to step away from corporate and fully bet on herself as a creator and entrepreneur. Along the way, she's also been navigating something deeply personal. Chanel lives with progressive hearing loss, an invisible disability that has shaped how she shows up, advocates for herself, and ultimately how she built her brand. And she learned one of the toughest lessons in the creator economy the hard way. At one point, a single phone call wiped out 80% of her income overnight, and she talks about it in today's episode. And when a platform she relied on shut down, she had to pivot, and you'll hear exactly how she did it. In this episode, Chanel shares what that moment taught her about diversification, how she rebuilt her business, how she's used affiliate marketing to create a reliable income stream as a creator, and what it really looks like to bet on yourself after leaving corporate. Let's get right into it. Chanel, welcome officially to the guest chair. For those who are new to your world, how would you describe yourself, who you are and what you do these days?
Oh my goodness. So I love the word multi-hyphenate, just because I think that it encompasses like a lot of like what we are. Like I feel like, especially like women who, are like working women, working moms, like got all the things going on, entrepreneurs, whatever you look at it, it's like there's so many things that we have our hands in. And it's like there's so many facets to like who we are. So I'm going to go with multi-hyphenate. I, from a professional standpoint, am a contentpreneur. I'm a commerce enthusiast, which basically means that I love making product recommendations to my audience. That's kind of how I got my start on Instagram. I was like the skincare girly, and I built this glow community. I am also a strategist. So I work with a lot of brands who are focused on growth and performance marketing. In addition to I have like a very like interesting like corporate background before I stepped out on my own. And then I'm a mom. I am a wife. I am training for a half marathon.
Ooh.
I am like doing the things. So yes, that's kind of like how I describe myself.
You are doing all the things. And contentpreneur, I don't think I've heard that one before, even though I guess that's what I am also.
Yes. To me, it's like you're just in the business of content creation and in community building. Like that is what a contentpreneur is.
And speaking of your background, you do have a very interesting background. You've worked in investment banking, right? Luxury marketing at YouTube as well in marketing. And now you're a full-time creator and entrepreneur. So when did that side hustle and entrepreneurship bug first hit you?
Like you mentioned, I started my career in investment banking and like financial services, and I was like, ooh, not quite for me. But like this is I learned so much during like those 5 years that I spent in that industry. It helped me get into business school. So when I got to business school, I was like, girl, pivot, like time to make a pivot. And I knew very clearly.
That's what the B school is for, right?
Turn. I knew that I was like very creative, and like very analytical, but like those like two parts of like my mind just hadn't been stimulated enough yet. So I was like, I want to do luxury marketing, and I thought I really wanted to go into fashion. But beauty, sort of like my final semester of school, these Estee Lauder companies, like these other beauty brands were like presenting on campus. And I was like, I never really thought about beauty before, but like this sounds like something that I would really enjoy. So right out of school, I joined Estee Lauder companies and I became obsessed with skincare. So I was actually able to work at some of the skincare brands while I was there. One of them is La Mer, which is many people are familiar with. It's a luxury skincare brand, one of my favorites. And while I was there, uh, that beauty closet was insane. Like I was like losing my mind because I'm such like a product junkie, and it was just like it was heaven. So what was kind of happening was I was working a lot with I worked in product marketing, so I was working a lot with the R&D teams, the product developers, and I was learning so much about like formulation of skincare products. And then my job was to figure out a way to take either existing formulas or build new formulations that were going to resonate with skin of color, or really like Black and brown women. And that was my role. And so from that, I started, I was like, there's so many other brands out there. I'm learning all about like ingredients, and I'm learning about formulation. I'm learning about brands that work because I had to do all this competitive research. I'm learning about brands that work for us. So I started talking about it on Instagram, everything that I was learning, because I'd also suffered from awful acne. So I'm like, I kind of got forced into it, but I had like a manager who was like, you need to start like becoming like a influencer. And I was
Wow,
like,
your manager told you that?
my manager told me that. Yes.
Wow. Shout out
And I
to
was
the
like,
manager. Yeah.
absolutely. I was so like a behind the scenes, like low key, like I did not like being in front of the camera at all. So what you will see if people who started following me from the beginning, it was really just like flat lays. Like I would just take pictures of products and then like tell you my opinion on them. Because I was like, I'm not getting in front of the camera. But again, it just started as something to do. It wasn't something that like I had a vision around. It wasn't something I had a plan around.
You weren't
But
trying to
it took
become a
off.
content creator.
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah.
did. And I
It took
wasn't
off.
following you in the beginning. So by the time I discovered your page and you, I was like, oh my God, like you're a dangerous page to follow if you're a product junkie.
Yes,
Because
yes, yes.
I wanted to try everything. And even still, you have this way of organically sharing and you have a trust with your audience because we know that you're not just posting to get commission on any and everything. Like everything has
Mm-hmm.
a story and a reason. How did you start to find your rhythm with that to really figure out how to share things and make sure it was authentic to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was just like a growth journey, honestly. Like I've worked with so many content creators, like big, small, in the middle, over the years. And it really is something that a lot of people get like stressed out and get anxious about posting and sharing their life. And I 100% understand because I am that person, even still today after doing this for years, right? And it really is like you decide what you want to share. Yes, there are going to be certain times where maybe you need to stretch and grow and evolve. And I'm figuring all of that out now. I've had to make a lot of pivots more recently. I've had to think about new ways to like introduce myself. I've had to figure out like how to like nurture my existing audience, but also like usher in new people because you
Yeah.
need to see that growth. And so I always just kind of look at it as like you start with what you're comfortable with, and then you kind of just like have like new things that you can sprinkle in. And that kind of allows you to do it in a way that stretches you outside of your comfort zone, but not significantly.
When did you pivot into then working at YouTube and actually literally working with content creators? I'm curious about that pivot, namely because it is hard to make pivots sometimes. And so you're
It's
also
very
good at
difficult.
getting good jobs. So
Thank
talk
you.
to the people about how you go from Estee Lauder to YouTube.
Yeah, it was very unexpected. And the reason why I went back to get an MBA was because I couldn't pivot out of banking. Like I was like, I was like getting interviews with like, I think Louis, it's like LVMH but Chanel, but it was like, they were like, we want to put you into like a finance role. I'm like, I don't want to go into
Like,
finance
come,
role.
come
I
right
want to go
on
into
over.
marketing role. I want to go to strategy role. And they're like, mm, no. So while I was at Estee Lauder, because I worked so after I left La Mer, they had line of business called corporate consumer engagement at Estee Lauder companies. And basically you sit over all of the entire brand portfolio. And what it basically was consumer marketing. So there were different divisions within that. And one of them was content and influencer marketing for basically like our multicultural customer. And so that's where I sat. And a lot of the relationship that I was building, a lot of like the marketing strategies that I was executing, everything was kind of like go to market. So it was like what brands would come and say, like, which content creators should we work with? What should be our media strategy? So I started building up like a lot of like subject matter expertise in these areas, and kind of that caught the eye of some people at like YouTube. And a friend of mine sent me a job, and they were like, hey, like you should interview for this role. They're looking for like a head of beauty for their partnerships division. I think this would be perfect for you. And that was literally like, I put, but you have to go through, it's not just like, oh, let me apply. That doesn't really work
Right.
anymore. I had to like all of those people who had said this, I would be a good fit for this job, who worked there internally. They needed to advocate for me. I needed somebody to put me in direct touch with a recruiter so that it became like a more personal thing versus just like seeing me as, one of however many hundreds of applicants, right? So I finally got to the final round with what ended up being my manager, who's one of the best managers I've had in my career. And she was like really blown away by the fact that my background was so unique in comparison to the traditional people that had worked on that team. Like I was coming from the brand side. I had already worked with content creators. I was a kind of like a specialist in like beauty content and beauty in like the beauty category. And I kind of bring a different POV because I was also a content creator myself.
Yes. And you have the business lens, which is also very unique, having worked in investment banking, but also going back to business school and really refining the ability to marry the two, like not just having creative vision, but okay, how does this make money for a business?
Exactly. Because that was literally my job. It's like I'm working with all these massive creators
Mhm.
who also have a life cycle, right? Like
Yeah.
they know that they've got about 5 to 7 years before the next girl, it person, big beauty, influencer, vlogger, whatever comes
Yes.
and takes their stage. And so a lot of them were pivoting and were trying to figure out like, where can I pivot? How can I grow? So like literally that was a big part of my job, was like working with them to figure out like what that like sustainability model was going to look like.
Yeah. And were they hitting you on the side for life advice? Like,
Oh, we get you get very close when you
of
are
course.
talking about, people's like everything, like they put, so being a YouTuber in particular, like I will say like being on Instagram and TikTok, yes, it's challenging work for sure, but like having a YouTube channel, you usually like need an editor, you need
Yeah,
kind of
that's a
like a
TV
team
show.
behind you. It's a show. It's like consuming a TV show. And so what people have to kind of put into it is like I would say like a higher investment. And so a lot of these creators are like, I've put so much into this. I don't want to lose this, but I also need to find another way to kind of continue, leveraging my influence in the business world. And so I'm like, okay, let's talk. Let's get deep. I'm integrated with their teams, their talent managers, their agents, their business partners. So yes, it is like it's a very, very robust experience.
And at what point did you start thinking about coming over to the other side?
So I had one more role in corporate, where I went to a creator commerce startup, because I was like, I'm working with at YouTube, I'm working with all the people at the top, but like my passion really is like people like me, where you're kind of like you're getting started and you're growing, and I wanted to do more of that. And I really honestly believe in affiliate. Like affiliate marketing is one of the oldest forms of marketing, dating back
Yes.
to like Mary Kay, Avon, like that rev share model, right? Like it's
Yes.
like brands don't lose anything by investing in that. And so we also were seeing like a significant pivot from brands just wanting to do like awareness marketing, and all the way like wanting to deepen the funnel and do performance marketing. And that was like a big industry shift. And so I was seeing all these things happen in real time. So I was like, let me go to this creator commerce startup that I'll be able to work with creators of all sizes and really help them get like their passive income strategy down, where like no matter what's happening like in the economy, no matter what's happening in the ecosystem, like the creator economy and the ecosystem,
Yeah.
affiliate is something that you can always depend on as a content creator. And so that was where I wanted to spend my time. And so I ran the creator division there. And then after kind of being there for a year, I was like, I'm ready to step out on my own. Mainly because I wanted to do more platform work. So I really liked working with platforms in particular, like monetization platforms. And I wanted to work with more creators. And, I wanted to see like what that entrepreneur journey could look like.
We have to do a little deep dive coaching session from you on that affiliate and partner marketing, because I would say that's the one area I will dip my toe in and then I'll dip it right back out.
Yes, yes, yes. Funny that you say that. I am actually, I have a business partner and former coworker of mine from YouTube and the commerce startup. We are launching the Creator Profit Lab today.
Yes. What?
Yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
today is March 5th when we're recording. This is actually going to come out next week. So,
Yes.
yes, just in time. I will be up in the lab. I'll be all over the
Yes,
lab.
you will be invited to be in the lab, and
I
it's
will be in the
literally going
lab.
to be a master class in
Yes.
how you monetize with affiliate marketing, and
Yes.
it's a
And
massive
scale it.
opportunity.
I think scaling is the thing that always gets me. I'm like, okay, this was great because these brands feel like they're giving you, when it all comes down to it, I'm not talking about for you, right? But when you're starting out, it feels like, oh, this is all I got. And you have to do so much to scale, right? So, but people will say the same thing about podcasting, right? So I
Yeah,
know I just
yeah,
need, and this is a fun season because I'm getting coached by all of my guests. So, all right,
yes.
we'll put a pin in that. We're going to come back around. Don't
We're
let me
gonna come
forget.
back to it.
What I wanted to touch on first is, okay, now that you had built this career at the highest levels of corporations and Fortune 500s and corporate marketing, what did it take to detach from that identity that was tied to your titles and to your companies, and to really lock in to who you are now as a content creator, entrepreneur, business owner?
Ooh, girl, that is a deep question. Um, I have never really fully thought about it. So my answer may be a little muddled because in my mind I'm still like I leave the door open to go back to corporate. So like
Yeah.
I'm always kind of just like being an entrepreneur is very difficult. It's
Yes.
like you're literally hustling for every dollar that you make, and it's not like when you're in corporate and you just that paycheck hits every other Friday. This is
Yeah.
like brands operate on like a net 90 payday. And so it's like I have to now wait 3 months after some work that I did to actually
Mhm.
see that money show up. And so I think for me, I'm a planner. I'm really, really, really like a very rigid planner in terms of like my finances. So what I was doing was I knew eventually like I wanted to step out on my own. I just didn't, I was terrified. I'm like, I don't know when I actually want to do this. So what I started doing was because I had my corporate job, and they were well paying corporate jobs that, came with equity packages and all these things. So like that was stable income for me. And then everything that I was making being a content creator, I saved. So I said, what I'm going to do is save a year's worth of my executive salary.
Mhm.
And if I can get to that point, then I have a basically like not a slush fund, but I've got a good pillow to fall back on if things get tight. And so once I decided I made the decision to step on my own. There were a lot of things kind of going on at the startup that I was working at, but a lot of it was like reinforcing the fact that it was time to go. And I was like, I've spent so many years making companies like millions and millions and millions of dollars, working with creators that are multimillionaires. And I'm like, maybe it's time to like invest that time and effort into yourself, and then also continue to help creators like where it's like this is the business that you're building
Mhm.
for like the next generation of contentpreneurs and commerce creators. And so I had to kind of like I saved a lot. I had to do a lot of talking to myself. I spent a lot of time talking to friends and family. I had to hype myself up quite a bit. And I had to believe that no matter what, when you bet on yourself, there's no downside, even if it doesn't work out. And I had to stop being afraid of failure.
Ooh, that is such a deep reminder. There is no downside, even if it doesn't work out.
Even if it doesn't work out, it is okay. And literally, like that was a lot of what my stuff stack was like saying was like, I've made mistakes. And the one that we connected on that I wrote in at the end of the year. And I was like, or I think the beginning of this year, because the rug was pulled from up under
Right.
me and everything that I had planned and banked on and felt was super
Yeah.
stable, it was gone in an instant. And I
Can
was
you
like,
share a little bit more about that? Because I was
yeah,
shocked too, because I didn't know you, but I just had the sense that you were a planner. You were not someone similar to me, very calculated risk taker.
yes,
Like
exactly,
risk is a
exactly.
spectrum. And we're the people who are like, okay, I will do a leap after
Yep.
I do
After
this
I
and
feel
I
like
have
it's
my
safe.
golden,
Yes,
safety net
yes,
beneath
yes.
me.
Yeah.
So talk to us about what actually ended up happening where, the rug was pulled out from under you.
Yeah. So I had been consulting with a creator commerce platform called Collective Voice, and I'd been a creator on their platform for a number of years. Like I had amazing relationships, and I was honestly missing corporate America. Like I was missing being in those meeting rooms. I was missing
Mhm.
like strategizing, and I was
Yeah.
missing like building things with people. Like that was what like I love that energy when I was in corporate America. And you find your people, and you all just like things just start taking off. Like I missed that tremendously. Being an entrepreneur can also be very lonely, and I don't think a lot of people talk about that. And being a content creator is a very challenging area of work, but filming content, editing content, thinking like I wasn't using the parts of my a lot of the parts of my brain that were stimulated in corporate America. And so I didn't want to get too far away from that because it's like a muscle that you kind of have to keep working at.
Mhm.
So Collective Voice basically said, hey, like I kind of pitched it to them. I was like, listen, there's a lot of like education, there's a huge education gap in the creator economy where you all have all of these like incredible products and tools that exist, but like, and the product market fit is spot on, but creators don't understand how to use your platform and they don't understand where this kind of fits in like their own business, like ecosystem of like levers that they can pull. So like, I
Yeah.
want to come in and be the person that does that. And they were like, oh, yes. So they created this program called the Creator in Residence Program. And basically, like I worked on creator education. I worked directly with the engineers and the product marketing team to build out
Mhm.
like new product innovations and to figure out like, okay, tech can sometimes be a little bit like startling. It could be intimidating. It can be confusing. So I'm kind of like the middleman with creators and explaining like in like their terms, this is how this is going to work. This is how this fits in. This is how this is going to help you scale. Like this is
Mhm.
how this is going to help you like operationalize and grow. This is the role this is going to play in your business. And so a lot of work, lots of programming work, and that was like my kind of like consultancy with them. And so I was basically getting a paycheck for all the campaigns that I was doing as a content creator. And then I was also getting a check for like my creator in residence consultancy. And so it kind of felt like I stepped back, like I never left corporate America.
Okay.
This was
Because it was
ongoing,
all under collected voice. Like you
all under
used
collective
it.
voice.
Okay.
Yep. And so I'm looking at like affiliate, like creator monetization platforms don't really go out of business. Like
Mhm.
they're very lucrative, like businesses. And so I'm getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And like it's been this way for 4 years. So like I'm in my mind, I was like, this is super stable. Like I don't need to go and be on all these other, like be generating all this like activity on other platforms because I'm locked in here. Massive mistake. So at the end of the year, right before the holiday, I
Yeah.
got a phone call from the GM. And she was like, Chanel, like, I'm devastated to tell you this, but we are going to be shutting down completely. And I was like, I'm sorry.
What?
What do you mean? Like, what do you, I, and she was like, this is it. The road stops here. And like it was a very emotional conversation. And the first thought I had was like, oh my God, all these people that I've worked with who've advocated for me, who have become like close friends because we have been in the thick of things together. They're losing their jobs. And then the second thing I thought immediately was, how am I going to survive? How am I going to make money? How am I going to take care of my family? Because that the rug that was pulled was
Yeah.
over 80% of my income.
Oh my God.
80%. And I freaked out. I was just like, and then after I had my moment to freak out, I said, this is just a sign that you're meant to learn something from this and you're meant to grow from this, because
Yes.
this was a, while like you went about it the right way and the intentions were good, you knew better. You knew you
Yeah.
needed to diversify and you didn't. And you've always been diversified. And that was like what I was storytelling on my Substack. I'm like, I've been working since I was a preteen. I was working at Ben and Jerry's, at Macy's. I was
Yes.
working at, secondhand retail stores. When I was in college, I worked in on-campus office jobs. I had internships, and then while I was in corporate America, I had my side hustle. So there were
Yes.
always like multiple
Like
streams of
stacking
income.
6 figures from the side hustle.
This is what I'm saying. And so I was like, and then all of that, I became an entrepreneur and then channeled all of that into one company. And I screwed myself. So it was just like, that's when I
Wow.
wrote the stuff that I was like, listen, I don't, this applies to everything you do, but like diversification is significantly important in how you manage your finances, your business affairs, how you live your life, the friendships you have. I mean, it follows everything. So I'm like, don't be like me, where you get the rug pulled out. You have time to figure out what that additional stream of income needs to be, because we also know that like Black women are being attacked by corporate America right now.
Yep.
We are losing jobs at a rate that is significantly higher than every other demographic.
Yes.
And at senior leadership positions as well. So, and I've seen this happen directly in my friend groups, in my family.
Yeah. And ones that they recruited us for, they begged us, come
Yep.
on over here.
Yep.
You're going to build it. Gone.
Yeah,
right?
it's gone. It's gone, right? And so I'm like, listen, this can happen to you just because like you work here and you've done a good job. We hear about, high performers getting let go all the time. Like my whole point was, don't let it be you. You have time to now think about this, plan it. Like if there's always been like this thing that you go to sleep thinking about and wake up thinking about, that's just in the back of your head, girl, go do it, and go do it now.
Oh my God. So much to unpack here. I mean, you just had me amped up inside listening to you because what you're talking about, and I'm so glad you're talking about it and you wrote your Substack on it. And tell people the name of your Substack too before we forget.
Oh, it's called Sensible.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're going to link to it, of course. But you are talking about what is some people's worst fear, right? Okay, I bet on myself, I quit, and then boom, like the money stops coming in. What next? And you're here to show people what happens after, that you can pivot and make it through that. So it's just like what you said, like, yes, it's still a good decision, even if it doesn't work out. So, okay, the worst possible scenario happened. Now what? Okay.
Now what?
What's your now what?
So I immediately said, listen, if you're going to really commit to building your audience on Instagram, which is my main platform, you also have to diversify and be on TikTok. You have to diversify and really lean into Substack, Substack is still like a form of social media. And then you need to think about getting on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Let's make a plan to do all those things, but start with your primary audience. And you can't get on YouTube before you get used to talking to the camera. So a lot of my content has actually shifted to you seeing me in front of the camera, directly talking and engaging. And so I've been doing a lot more of that. And crazy enough, it's been performing extremely well. I'm also a big fan of doing like repeatable series. So this is something that works very well for influencers and content creators, and that's what you see a lot on YouTube as well. But a lot of people have mastered that on TikTok and Instagram, where it's just like snackable, like 1.5 to 2, 3-minute videos where they're repeatable. So your audience is again kind of feeling like they're following you on a show, or these are like episodic, right? So I started doing that. I launched the Chanel Diaries. And then
what do those include? What's in the Chanel Diaries?
Yes. So the one thing that I would do every time I hit a milestone while I was doing my side hustle and working my corporate job was I would buy a Chanel bag. And so I am what I consider to be like a collector. Now, my mom actually gave me my first bag. So it's very vintage. It was hers. It was the bag that she bought herself when she got a big promotion. And so that's where it started. And then I have grown my collection over the years, and people have always asked me to talk about this. But again, I had this fear of talking to the camera and could not, I am struggling with that anxiety. And then I finally did it, and it performed better than any piece of content I've ever done. So that's something that I've been leaning into, and it's basically it is more layers to it. So a lot of people want to understand like lambskin versus caviar leather. Like what are the differences between the two? Vintage versus retail. Like what's the better quality, right? What how do I think about like ROI when I'm purchasing a bag? Like what are all the factors that go into you being able to resell this 5 or 10 years down the line, right? Like how do I protect and store? So anyway, there's just so much to dig into and so
Yes.
many like content concepts. So that's something that I've been doing. And then diversifying across several platforms. So now I'm on Shop My, and I'm on Magic Links, and I'm on Brand Cycle, I'm on LTK. So like I really diversified myself. And then I also am launching the Creator Profit Lab, as I mentioned earlier, to work with and teach more creators how to monetize their content.
I love it.
And then I also have leaned heavily into my earring collection with Diana Brassard. So that's something new that like I've done it before this happened, but now like I can commit more time to it. And then I'm also opening myself up to going back to corporate America. So it is keeping the doors open to everything, because it's like, and then of course I signed with the talent agency as well. And that is helping me a lot in being able to bring in new campaign opportunities and new partnership opportunities. Because I just don't have the time to do all these other things and then also be pitching myself.
Right. Because it's exactly what you said, now that you're out on your own, it does sound tiring, right? It does sound like you're literally hustling for every dollar. And that's the reality in certain seasons and sometimes many seasons. So I'm glad that you're speaking about it. I could definitely relate to the on face to cam, just talking to the camera thing. Why is it so hard? It's literally our own face.
It just feels so vulnerable. I don't know.
So
I'm just like,
I'm struggling with that too. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I just
girl, every time I would the amount of like hype, I'd be like, okay, today's the day. I would have my camera set up, everything, and I'd be like, nope, not doing it.
I'm like, how do they do this? This feels so unnatural. This feels
that's what it is.
Every time
it feels unnatural.
It feels unnatural.
Yes.
But when you finally push through, because you have to tell yourself like you're on FaceTime. That's the easiest way to remember, like, I'm just on FaceTime. Because when you push through, the response is always like, wow, because people feel like they know you. Yeah.
People see you now. They can connect with you on a real deeper level, because now you are a person and not a persona.
Yes. Oh my God, you are so right about that. A person, not a persona.
Yep.
But I hear a lot of excuses around it, because within my own line of work, I coach podcasters on how to grow their own podcast into a profitable podcast. And now that there's so much emphasis on video, we just had this conversation where people are like, well, but it's extra equipment. Well, but, blah, blah. And I think as much as we can simplify, right, in this content creator journey, as much as we can simplify it, that is really one of the keys. Like, even if the camera quality when you're first starting, like I need to upgrade my phone. But when I got back into vlogging this year, I said, I'm just going to use my phone, because if I whip out my more elaborate equipment, I'm not going to do this.
You're not going to do it, because then it starts to feel like a show for you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a production. It's a production.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me
it's a production.
iPod, No, that's not natural.
You're literally speaking to me right now, because that is me. I invested in a super expensive camera, camcorder, all of the things. As soon as I do that, it sends me into like this mode where I start getting anxious, because now it feels like a production, versus when I use my phone, it is so much easier. And like, honestly, that's why I love TikTok so much too, is because it's not a place for like all this like over edited, like aesthetic looking, like high quality content.
That's why everyone migrated there, and will migrate to the next platform once that becomes too overproduced.
Exactly.
This is a needed reminder for myself. And you mentioned Sensible, your earring collection, which when you launched Sensible, your Substack, you talked about your journey into creating this collaboration. So tell us a little bit more about your journey with your invisible disability and how it led to you launching your earring line.
So crazy enough, it connects back to what we were just talking about. A lot. It took me a really long time to publicly talk about being having a hearing disability and being hearing impaired. It was something that I was very ashamed of, and it took me years to like come to terms with the fact that it was happening to me. I didn't want to believe that I was struggling,
Mhm.
and I had a lot of friends and that kept pointing it out to me, like, and it just was breaking me. Like little pieces of me were just starting to become invisible with it.
Mm.
And I
Like, what were they
finally was like,
saying?
oh, they were literally like, you can't hear well. Like you're missing out on conversation. People would be calling my name in a room, wouldn't hear them calling my name.
Mm.
This actually started to happen when I was in business school. So I was noticing that like I could never sit in the back of the class. I would always have to sit in like the first or second row. Otherwise I would miss what was happening. And that was a very expensive education. So I was like, I can't afford to like miss anything that was going on. So it started to become a noticeable problem there. And so a lot of my classmates were telling me. And then my friends started to notice as well. And especially like my husband. He was like, he's like a deeper, like kind of like softer voice. And
Mhm.
so I would just completely miss things that he would say. And he would be like,
Mm.
did you not hear me? And I'm like, I did not. And so, and it's like,
Oh.
you're when you're with your partner or your
Yeah.
lover, whatever, you're having pillow talk. And I'm like, I can't even hear the pillow talk anymore. So,
I'm sorry, I
it
don't
was
mean
just
to laugh.
impacting me across the board, girl. So,
Because
what
as
was
you need to be heard, you're like,
we
"Wait, are
heard?
you not listening or can you not hear?" Like that.
This is the thing, right? And because I didn't
Yeah.
have a diagnosis yet, it was unclear. So
Mhm.
when I was interviewing for full-time roles when I came out of business school, I had to do like a final round presentation at a company that I really wanted to work at. They had me walk into this room, and if you can bear with me for a second, it was
Mhm.
a very long conference room where this presentation screen was at the one end, and then the executive team was sitting at the other end. And the main lead was this man that had the softest voice on earth. And so you're talking about the fact that it's probably 25 feet between us. And he was asking me follow up questions to my presentation, and I just couldn't hear him. So I kept asking him to like repeat himself. I tried to like move forward, and he was like, "Just say you don't know the answer. Just say you don't know it," and completely dismissed me. And I was too prideful and too embarrassed to say that I couldn't hear him. And I was like, "Oh, if this is going to impact your career, honey." You got to
Mhm.
get it together. So right after that, I went to go see an audiologist. I got my hearing tested, and then I got hearing aids. And so when I stepped into corporate America, I had a very visible hearing impairment because people could see me with the hearing aids. So I found ways to style my hair that covered them up. But it was hard on me. And I remember reading something during that time where it was like I was I was reading up more about other disabled communities, and they were
Mhm.
like, don't let this be the thing that shrinks you. Like,
Mm.
and that's what I felt myself doing. I felt
Yeah.
myself shrinking and becoming smaller. And I was like, no, like, take up more space.
Yes.
So I finally started talking about it on social media. People were like completely shocked, had no idea. But it would just be like every once in a while I would say something, and then finally I talked to like a few other friends who are also content creators, and they're like, Chanel, you need to talk about your disability more. Like that is like a unique part of like who you are. Like that can open you up to like new audiences, new communities, like more people can see themselves through you. And I was just like, that was just a terrifying thought to have that start to become part of like my social identity. Like I just didn't want it to be. That's not how I wanted to do
Yes.
it. And so when I had been noodling on starting a Substack for about a year and a half. And finally, it just came to me that that was the format that I wanted to use to talk about my disability. That was where I wanted to do it. I didn't really want to do it on Instagram or TikTok. I wanted to do it in a written form where I could express more of myself and really talk about how this fits into my life. And I didn't feel like I could do that in a 90-second reel.
And And I'm so glad you did, because I'm one of those longtime followers that must have missed the few times you mentioned it. I
Yeah.
know you would mention, health things you were going through, but I just was always like, I wonder what she's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't know
really
what
did not
she's
talk about it a
alluding to.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you
Yeah.
see it. I also ended up deciding to add it to like my profile, so you do see like
Mhm.
invisibly disabled in like my
Yeah.
bio or
It's
whatever.
so powerful. And let me tell
Yeah,
you, as someone who, I don't have the same health concern, right? But hearing you speak about it, it does, like they say, by shining your light, you help other people. It does help me, because I think, wow, look at this. She's persevering through this. I would have never known. So
yeah,
when I think of my own things that I'm persevering through, it gives me a little battery in my back as well to keep pushing through, and to work on sharing my own things with others, because of the power that your story has given me. So I just hope that's a reinforcement for you, because I don't need to be having
yeah.
the same journey. Just in you talking about it, whenever anyone has the courage to talk about something, that really helps me a lot.
It's like I appreciate you saying that, and
Yeah.
that really it means so much because it is a hard thing for me. It is very emotional and it is very rooted, and it's just something that I am going to have to work through for the rest of my life, because it's like a degenerative
Mhm.
condition. So like it gets worse every year. I
Yeah.
lose more and more of my hearing ability,
Wow.
but I've never felt more empowered. And so like the earring collections that I've been doing, I started wearing statement earrings as a way to like embrace and feel empowered and like take my power
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Once I started talking about started getting more vocal about having a disability. So I was like, if I'm gonna have to wear hearing aids, I don't want you to focus on the hearing aid. I want you to focus on the jewelry, the fashion aspect of me that like I'm obsessed with, that I that is a better conversation starter than me having to go into this. So that is really like that's where the jewelry collection came from, and I'm so grateful that Diana Broussard has been a jewelry designer for decades in
Mhm.
Soho, New York, and she believed in me and she loved my story and she was like,
Wow.
let's go into business together, let's be partners. And so it's really been like a blessing to have something like that come out of something that easily could have sent me into like depression and
Yes.
did for a
Yeah.
while, but also shrunk me and made me feel like an outsider in this world.
So statement earrings became like your armor.
My armor. Yep.
Yes. And they're
Hmm.
so gorgeous. And so are there hearing aids behind those? Because I
No,
don't.
no, no.
Oh, okay.
They're not. They're not. It's kind of funny enough that you asked that. Swarovski actually did like an ear. So I'm hearing impaired. I have degenerative hearing loss and I'm hearing impaired. And then I also have sound sensitivity and tinnitus. So I have like four conditions in one, which is wild. So whenever I go to like events or even sometimes restaurants or bars, I have to wear earplugs. Otherwise my tinnitus will flare up. And
Mm.
so they actually put out like it's like a rhinestone like earplug, and I was like, ooh, that might be something that like I get into. And then I'm also like trying to think about like where like fashion wearability and how to make hearing aids like more like fashion forward.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool, because
Yeah.
look at that. Well, you heard it
Hmm.
here first, y'all. You heard.
Hmm.
I'm gonna check back. I'll
Yes.
be checking back in a few
Yes.
years. But now let's go back to that pin, right? So you do so much, and I want to make sure we talk about the affiliate, right? So what's the name of your lab again? It's the
Creator Profit Lab.
Okay, the Creator Profit Lab.
Hmm.
Love that. I am always looking to profit more.
Yes,
So
exactly. See.
talk to
Hmm.
us. Talk to us about the affiliate journey, affiliate marketing, and partnerships marketing. First of all, what's the difference?
Yeah. So affiliate is just a very simple performance marketing rev share model. So you're literally talking about like, I post a link to something at Nordstrom. Nordstrom is willing to pay me 9% on every sale that I
Mhm,
generate, right? And so if it's $100, I make $9 on that sale.
mhm,
That is what affiliate marketing is. And then
right,
a campaign,
mhm.
or I would say, campaigns tend to be a little bit looser. So now you have campaigns that integrate a performance component, but campaigns historically have really just been about awareness. So just like reach how how many eyeballs have seen this piece of
Yeah.
content, right? And so that's usually in the form of a flat fee. So a brand is paying you an upfront fee of like whatever your fixed amount is, like whatever your rate or your agency or talent manager is putting forward. And that is just like, it's locked in. So like, no matter what, you're going to make that money versus like affiliate is like, and the reason why I call it passive income is because it's always on. So like your links can live so many places. Like social real estate is massive, right? So it can live in your link in bio, in your saved highlights, in your broadcast channels, in your description boxes on YouTube, in your Substack. Like you have links that blog. They can live everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's why they've been around for so long. Is because it's just like it's a passive and an active form of income. So the more you put into it, the more you make. And so you don't have to wait on a brand to come around and give you a campaign. So I would say like when I think about my mix of business, my mix of business is probably 60% affiliate. Like I make, and then 40% brand campaigns. I make more money in affiliate marketing than I do in brand campaigns.
Would you be comfortable sharing, like, not the exact amount, but the figure range? Like, what does affiliate income look like for you? Is it 4-figure, 5-figure, monthly?
Monthly, it's high 5 figures.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you already shared one thing that I immediately am like, okay, that's what I'm doing wrong, because you mentioned Nordstrom at 9%. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm affiliating for the wrong people. Let's start there.
Yes. Some brands like that. This is why I have to plug Shop Mine too. They some brands will even pay you 50% commission.
Nice.
Right. Nice. And so it's like you've gotta this is the thing. There's a whole like strategy behind this, right? That is just not frequently discussed, and a lot of creators just aren't educated on it, right? And so I'm always like, optimize, optimize, optimize. Like your systems that you put in place need to just be working for you, which is like why like AI is very exciting in this world because of automation, right? That now takes a lot of the manual process behind making money through affiliate marketing off of you. So yeah, so I would say like those are affiliate to me is that's your always on, the thing that you can bank on, the thing that's going to hold you down when everything else like is not consistent. Brand partnerships usually for most people you usually need to have like a bit of a larger audience, not big, but probably like over like 20,000 followers somewhere, on social media.
And that's doable, y'all. That's very doable.
Very doable. Very doable. But if you've got that affiliate and you've got those performance marketing metrics, you can, even if you're a smaller, and this is where being a smaller creator, like this is how you kind of win here, is you can say, this brand can come and say, oh, well, you've only got like 25,000 followers, so I'm only going to give you like $1,000 flat fee, right? What you can say is, well, like if this is Nordstrom, I can say, well, listen, Nordstrom, I drive over $100,000 in revenue or sales for you in a 3-month period. So based on that metric, my rate should actually be $10,000 or $15,000 because you see now the revenue power that I have. And like now, and this is the thing, the data points, the metrics, the actual figures don't lie. That is so powerful for people to see, and you almost never get a no. They may negotiate with you a little bit more, but no one's going to say no to real numbers.
Here's where I struggle, right? So I hear you with the link and the rev share, the percentage that you're getting. My challenge right now is the longevity of those clicks, like so that it can be passive. How do you get people to continually see the link after you posted it the first time? Are you reposting the same links? Are you driving traffic to your like to know it and your Shop My all the time? That's the part where I struggle.
Yes. So there's a couple things that matter here. The biggest one is attribution windows. And then the second one is deep linking. So attribution windows can vary by retailer. And what that basically means is how long somebody has from the time that they've clicked on your affiliate link to when they check out, right? So a lot of times, like, most people, there's like the rule of 3 in like marketing. It's like somebody needs to hear something 3 times from you to actually convert on it, right? So like, I know if I'm introducing something for the first time, I gotta link this out at least 3 times over like a week or 2 or a month, however long you want it. So that's like the first thing in terms of like thinking about the quantity of times you need to be pulsing. The second thing is let me go and find the brands that have longer attribution windows. So I would say certain brands, it could be 24 hours. Some go all the way up to like 7 days, 14 days, even 30 days, right? What happens is just because you posted that link today, lots of people come back. Like when they see things, people remember. And so a lot of times
Yeah.
they're going to come back to it. But what you want them to do is you want them to come back to your link, not go to Google and put it in there. So if you have a longer attribution window, as long as they check out that cookie is staying with them all those
Okay.
days, right? So
Yep.
as long as they check out within that attribution window, you're golden. And the great thing about it is also that I've noticed is like people shop more on Sundays because they have free time. So that's
Oh,
a better day to post. And then also
okay.
people tend to shop a little bit more on Fridays because those are paydays. So if you post something on a Monday or Tuesday and
Yeah.
then it's got an attribution window of 48 hours, somebody may not check out because they haven't gotten paid yet. So
Mm.
there's all these things. And then the last thing is deep linking. So what happens a lot of times, and creators don't know that this is happening, is links can break. So once you create an affiliate link, this is like a unique trackable link that's assigned to you.
Mhm.
So when somebody goes and Googles a promo code and they put that promo code in that little box at checkout, that breaks a link. When somebody goes from your Instagram story that they've clicked and it opens up an app, like the Nordstrom app, the Amazon app, whatever, that breaks a link. There are all these things that can break the link. When somebody goes from their social media to the Safari page, the link
Uh-huh.
can break, right? Because now
Mm.
you're out of the app.
Yes.
So what deep linking technology does is it basically makes sure that link stays static. There's no
Mm.
breaking that's happening, and like only a few platforms actually have this technology, and
Mhm.
so you've got to know like who those players are. So all
Okay.
of those things impact your ability to one earn. But my rule of thumb is post a link every day or every other day, and then always mention something that you feel like is valuable for your audience at least 3 times.
At least 3 times a day or a week?
It's really up to you. I tend to mention 3 times in 1 week. So it's like, okay, you saw me, like, let's say if it's like a skincare serum, right? Nobody's converting. Like, very few people are, even though people really trust my word, very few people are converting on a new skincare product that I've talked about one time. But if I talked about it on Monday and then again on Thursday and then again on Sunday, the girls are checking out on Sunday. Yeah. Yeah.
I love this. This has been really informative, and it has me thinking, like, I almost wanna do, like, an affiliate challenge. Like, I'm not ready for it in March or April yet, right? Because y'all know I do my sprints. It's not on the sprint, but
Yes,
I need to get serious about my linking, and my
you
problem,
do.
I don't wanna bash any brands, but I think my problem was just starting with a generic, basic Amazon storefront, and we know Amazon pays pennies, right? So I just always thought of affiliates like, "These brands aren't paying money, like, I don't have time to scale this to 1 cent times 1,000 people." Like, what is a girl supposed to do?
But if you
Yeah.
have systems in
Mhm.
place, you
Yeah.
can do it because then it won't
Mhm.
feel like this like heavy lift,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
why you should come take our course at the
Do you have
Creative
the link?
Profit
Alright, just
Lab.
drop it already because I'm ready
Yes.
to register after this.
Yes, because I will literally, like me and
Yeah.
Danielle are literally, what we're doing is we're going to set the groundwork for you so that you can just go and build your systems and then it will just work
So,
for
like,
you.
the AI systems, what do you mean by systems, by the way? Like,
So systems basically kind of like your execution strategies
mhm.
that can work within like your schedule, your lifestyle, but then also not require you to be active. That's kind of
Right.
how I look at it,
Yes.
right? So like
Okay.
one system would be AI, like integrating
Mhm.
AI automation. So like when every time you do a post or a
Mhm.
story, there's like a comment word or a trigger word that is just going to send people your links. And what the great thing about this particular feature is these links, once they're in someone's message box, they're living in perpetuity, right? Like when you do a story, it disappears in 24 hours. When people have to go to your link in bio, that's multiple different steps that they have to remember to take to like get there. And people do it, and it's a smart thing to have. But when it's in somebody's message box, their inbox, their DMs, it lives there forever. So anytime they need to go back and reference something, they see your link, right? It doesn't disappear. It is
Yeah.
active for as long as it needs to be. So that is like a system that you can deploy so that you're not having to constantly post links places.
Yes, yes. So do you use ManyChat or is there another one you prefer?
I love ManyChat. ManyChat is the
Okay.
main one, but there also are platforms that have it integrated already.
Okay. Okay. So,
Hmm.
do you have the link for the Creator Profit Lab when
So
you're
we're
around?
launching today. So as soon as everything goes up, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send it to you so that
Okay.
you,
And
you have it.
it'll be in the show notes, y'all. And the last thing that you can leave everyone with, as far as the first thing that we should do when we're starting out our affiliate game, right? What's the first step we should take?
It's not really like a step, it's more so a mindset. And that really to me is stop being so hard on yourself.
Oh, yes.
Like a lot of people over engineer what this needs to be. And it's like
Mhm.
as long as you can just remain
Yeah.
open to the fact that in the upfront, it's gonna require like some knowledge of skill.
Mhm.
But once you get it, it is one of the most like fortuitous like streams of income that you can have because it is completely in your control.
And I don't know if y'all are building the curriculum still, but I think my question as your top student who's coming is, okay, so you already know like a few of them because I asked them, but then also, are there platforms we should prioritize? So we'll get into that in the class, y'all. But yeah, I'm just curious so that we don't it's not that I think I'm wasting my time, but I just think I could be working smarter, not being
Yes,
hard
and
on
not
myself,
harder. Hmm.
but rather than starting with, platforms that pay cents on the dollar versus, 9%, for example, like
Yep.
0.1% versus 9% would be good to know.
Yes. Yes, yes. So, platform of choice is truly a personal choice. I would need to know more about what type of content you're making. I
Yeah.
would need to know a little bit more about like your lifestyle, your interest, and what categories you want to lean into to
Yeah.
say this would be the best platform for you.
Okay.
There are like about five out there that I'm really a really big fan of, but they all have like different functions. So it's not like I could just drop one, but that could be the one that's like not for you, right? So when you come to the class, you will actually learn about every single one of these platforms and then be able to make a very clear decision about which one fits in and which one is best for you.
Yes. And then also I think about myself, I would be more of like a business and technology, little bit of
Yes.
lifestyle as well. But I'm not the person who is going to be posting fashion fits, right? So that's also, a thing that's held me back because I'm like, is it even worth, like, what do I even post? What do people want to see from me? Kind
Yeah.
of a thing. Yeah.
And you know what you do?
What?
You ask them. You
Ooh.
ask them.
Yeah.
You do a story with a question
Yeah.
box. What do you want to see more from me?
Yes.
And they will tell you.
That's it right there. I haven't done one of those in a minute. So, this coaching session has already been supremely helpful,
Mm-hmm.
including telling me and everyone to not be so hard on ourselves because what
Don't.
happens now in this age of AI too is that I feel like there's this pressure to have everything figured out. Like, "You're still doing that? Why aren't you? You should have AI." And it's just like my head is swimming like
It's too much. It's too much. But like
I'm not polished. I'm not all buttoned up yet, okay?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, but it's like you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Like what I will say is in this business you do have to always be open to learning
Mhm.
because it's dynamic. It
Mhm.
changes very very quickly,
Yeah.
but it's not like hard. Like it's
Mhm.
like once you kind of understand like the inner workings, like everything is just
Yeah.
kind of an evolution of that.
And before we jump into the lightning round, I'd love to know your thought process right now, right? So you've seen how destabilizing entrepreneurship can be, the
Yeah.
contentpreneurship can be, but at the same time, I was literally just talking to another entrepreneur at an event yesterday, and she talked about how she took a break from the entrepreneur life and she had a stable job and she was feeling good, cruising, and then they took that out, they ripped that rug up too.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
what's your thought process since both of them can be ripped from under you? Like, what are you thinking as far as what your next move is and what you want your life to be in the next few years?
So I think I'm going into this mindset just being like my next if like if I step back in a corporate, which I'm very open to at this point,
Yeah.
it also needs to be like what I do on the side needs to fuel me being able to be better at my corporate job. My corporate job needs to fuel what my side hustles are, right? When you're doing a lot of distinctly different things, it becomes hard to be able to do both, right? And I am a person where like I'm never going to be like sidelined or flatlined by my business or corporate America again, right? And so you have to kind of like, you have to have like this diversification set up, but it works so much better when they feed each other. And so that's kind of like that's how I'm looking at it going forward. So if I were to go back into corporate, it will 100% be a job within the creator economy. Like
Yes, yes.
that is what I'm passionate about. That's what I love, and that is like that is my focus day in and day out. It's like being a part of like the growth in this industry.
I feel the same way. Like we're so
Yeah,
aligned in that. It's like if I was to do something else, I'm getting my Bazoma St. John on. Like I'm
yeah,
still building out my brand. And
yeah.
then, yes, I can sprinkle some of this magic for you. Because do you know Tia Williams, the author? Is that her name?
Yes,
Yes.
I do. I used to work with her at Estee.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
wow.
yes. And I remember finding out, I was like, I had no idea she was like this incredible author. And then she got a show made from
Yeah.
one of her books. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then I remember way back when she had a blog that she actually folded to get when Essence brought her on as like some chief beauty editor or something like that. And she had this awesome blog that she ended up shuttering. And I always think about that in terms of like, if we're moving back into a space or if we ever, like we will never, ever, we'll never shut the doors. You know what I mean? Like this is now part of us. You get a
yep,
bit of the magic and I'm still
yep,
doing this.
yep.
And
Exactly,
that's leverage.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I never I have watched people where corporate America has become their identity and then they lose their job and they
Oh,
don't know who they are. And that is a devastating thing to go through. And that's why I always recommend everybody have something else on the side. Don't let what you do define who you are.
always. And then the
It's just
last
what you
thing,
do.
it's just what you do, literally. And the
Yeah.
last thing that I think you have been such a great example of is find your voice and use it. Use it outside of work. Whatever platform you prefer, whether it's podcast, whether it's Substack, TikTok, find your voice and use it. I'm going to take back it's not for everybody. And what I will say is you can do it your way. So there are people who they literally just post their hands doing something,
Yeah.
and their page it has millions of viewers.
Yeah.
There are these women who go viral on TikTok from making their husband's lunch. And I'll be watching
And
because
I follow them. I see them. I
those,
follow them.
those
I'm
bento
fascinated by
boxes look
that.
delicious.
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
their name.
Yes.
I don't know their face,
Mhm.
but those pages captivate me. So
Yeah.
whatever you do, you can find a way to do it in a way that is comfortable for you
That's
because
comfortable for
social media
you.
is so helpful in building a bridge into making money in some way, shape, or form. So do it, do it, do it. So now let's jump into the lightning round.
Okay.
I feel like we were already answering some of these questions, but you know the deal. You just answer
Yes.
the first thing that comes to mind. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, what is a resource that has helped you in entrepreneurship that you can share with the Side Hustle Pro audience?
There's somebody that I'm specifically thinking of, but I'm blanking on her name. Anyway, she's a content creator that literally teaches you like how to build content systems. And I watch her content every single day and learn. It's snackable, it's short, but it's like literally like just these quick tips that have made a massive difference in
Oh, you
how I
got to
run my
remember
business.
her name.
Yeah.
Does she have a big
I'm just
Stan
like,
store? I might know who you're talking about. Does she have a big store on Stan? Okay.
I'm going to send it to you after.
Okay. Okay.
I can't remember her name,
No
but
problem. Chanel's going to
she's the
send it
person
to us all.
that it came to my mind immediately. So I'm
Okay.
like,
Okay.
ooh, she
Send it to me
nailed it.
right after.
Hmm.
Okay. Number two, what is the best business book or podcast episode that you've consumed recently?
I think Vivian Tan, who is your something bestie. Yeah, yes, your rich BFF. She had an episode with another content creator where they were literally talking about like how you grow your creator business into a product business or brand business. And that was like think she went really deep into like the analytics and like how you take those analytics and you turn it into like this is what my customer base can look like. And so that was like something that it's an older episode, but it's something that I listened to recently. She just made a big corporate move, but she's
Mhm.
also like coming out with a movie. Like I think it's Amazon. And
Oh, is she
coming
doing
out
a
with a
corporate thing too? I didn't know
yes.
that.
Mm-hmm,
Listen,
mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
what I love about the era we're in the creator economy is that now there's so many blueprints to look at. Like I'll literally sometimes have ChatGPT draft me a case study, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
reverse, so I can reverse engineer or think of things that I want
Tell
to
me.
incorporate. Like,
Yes.
this wasn't
Yes.
around 10 years. Like, now I'm like, there are blueprints to follow, y'all. So I love
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Speaking of that now, who is a non-celebrity Black woman entrepreneur that you trade places with for a day, and why?
Um, there's been a lot of talk about Hanifa, and
Yeah.
I can only imagine what she's been. I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of told us, but
Yeah.
there is so much empathy lacking
Mhm.
for her right
Yeah.
now. And
Mhm.
she is also someone that has broken bounds in ways that I think a lot of people don't even fully understand.
Yeah.
I would love to trade places with her for a day, just to soak up what that looks like for her, especially in this period of time where she's going through like kind of like figuring out what's next. I would
Mhm.
I would love to trade places with her.
Yes, yes. And not to pause the lightning round, but when I read her letter, I felt her, especially having gone through that postpartum. I think she was a month postpartum.
Yep.
I was like, shut it down, girl. They don't deserve you. They don't
Yeah.
deserve you, girl.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, shut
Because
it all
these were
down.
all things outside of her control. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I was one of those customers. I had
Yeah.
purchased several things during that
Mm,
sale. I was
mm.
sending emails to like, but I understood. I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, like you can't control, like, we don't even understand
Yeah.
like tariffs that
Yeah.
like enacting that has
Mhm.
impacted
Yeah.
the product business
Yeah.
across the board.
I think that will
Everything is
make
more expensive.
everyone.
Everything takks longer.
Yeah.
And
I think the
things were held in
pre-sale,
customs.
and
Yeah.
any entrepreneur who required pre-sales before for their business model, they have to go back to the drawing board
Yep.
now because of
Yep.
this, because it's
Yes.
just,
It's
I mean,
shattered.
pre-sales were always a little bit dicey, but now,
Yep.
ooh.
Yep.
Number 4, what is a personal habit that has helped you significantly in your business?
Organization, hands down. Just like my routine is very similar every
Okay.
single day.
Yeah.
And that allows me to stay organized so that I can operate at like the highest level that I need
Yes.
to for that day.
Yes.
If I don't do that, it's just chaos. And I am not the chaos girly. I don't love that.
I gotta let you know, I'm not either.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I have to make decisions like so quickly for things, and chaos just like doesn't play a strong
Mhm.
role in being able to do that.
Yeah, I
So
get you.
yeah, just being like being organized and having routine.
Yeah. And then finally, number 5, what is your parting advice for women who want to be their own boss but are worried about losing a steady paycheck?
Do what I did and do both at the same time until you get to a point where it's very clear that you need to pick one.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Let life and time tell it to you.
Hmm.
Woo. Well, Chanel, this conversation was so amazing. I wish we could continue, but where can
I
people
know. I'm like,
connect
we
with
have
you?
more.
Yes, where can people connect with you and make sure to be, the first to know about when you drop the Creative Profit Lab and all the
Yes.
things?
The best way to stay in touch with me is to follow me on Instagram. It's by me Chanel, spelled BUYMECHANEL. Everything that I do touches my Instagram. You'll see my Substack on there. You'll see me talk about the Creative Profit Lab on there and how to stay involved and get involved with that. And then you'll also be able to see like everything else that I have going on day to day. So that's the best place.
All right. So there you have it, everyone. I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much again, Chanel, for being in the
Oh
guest
my God.
chair.
Thank you for having me. Like,
Of course.
truly.
Truly. Hey guys, thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other side hustlers just like you to find the show. And if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Side Hustle Pro. Plus, sign up for my 6-bullet Saturday newsletter at sidehustlepro.co/newsletter. When you sign up, you will receive weekly nuggets from me, including what I'm up to, personal lessons, and my business tip of the week. Again, that's sidehustlepro.co/newsletter to sign up. Talk to you soon.